Alright guys, we're going to go through some facts and figures. The whole belly breathing thing has got to stop. There's a time and a place, but I can tell you this much, I haven't found the time and I have not found the place. When you understand normal breathing mechanics, respiratory mechanics, you start to question what we've been taught over the years. And we're taught this through a lot of different healthcare and fitness modalities as well. So we kind of believe it, kind of sticks in our head. So let's go through some normal breathing mechanics scenarios. So through normal inhalation, what we'd find is the diaphragm that sits like a lovely little parachute up through here when it's relaxed, and when we've exhaled all the air. When I inhale, it'll pull down and flatten out and drags air in through the throat. Okay, and what I'll find is I get this rib cage expansion, and I want that on a 360 degree or even more, like a multi-directional expansion everywhere. At the same time, when that diaphragm flattens out, the pelvic floor should catch. Okay, so the pelvic floor, the pelvic outlet should narrow down, and the pelvic floor should catch the contents of that pressure that we are trying to build. The other thing that happens above that T8, above that diaphragm, so when the diaphragm here flattens out, the glottis of the throat closes up. And then through exhalation, the reverse occurs. The diaphragm goes into a dome state, the pelvic floor relaxes, and the glottis opens up. That is normal breathing mechanics, and there are some studies on that. There's a guy called Detroyer. I think I'll try and link him down below. So what this creates within our thoraco-abdominal pelvic cavity, canister, whatever you like to say, is it creates equal air pressure between the two, okay, or the three. And we need this for multi-directional expansion, okay? Where we go wrong is, and what we've been taught, is that belly breathing is diaphragmatic breathing. Now this alone is quite incorrect. Because what belly breathing does is it drives our contents of our stomach out. We get the viscera, everything drives forward. And you can see when I drive forward, I actually end up getting more lordotic. And that is the opposite of what should happen through normal respiratory mechanics. So when I breathe in through normal mechanics, I should get a decrease in lumbar lordosis, not an increase. Now driving the belly out will increase that lordotic posture. What else will happen is I get a lengthening of the ab wall through TA, through IOs and EOs, there are your obliques, and through your rec abs. And this causes a big issue, especially when we start loading ourselves in the facility, in a gym, in a yoga pose, on a Pilates bench, you name it doesn't matter. If you're driven into that extension capacity, which a lot of our clientele are through just through the way we've lived our lives as humans, you know, with that chest out and pelvis down, or some people will say it was an anterior tilt and a bilateral rib flare. When we drive belly breathing on top of that normalized position that we have, well, I can't say normalized because I haven't seen everyone in the world, but we see a lot is, if I'm up here, you know, boobs bum out, or chest up for the guys, that means my diaphragm's already been pulled flatter by a muscular tone. And now if I drive belly breathing in from there, I make that worse. So even when I'm driving a breath just before I lift a big squat, before I drop into a big squat and I've got my belt on and I'm driving out, my lumbar spine is going to do too much work. And that guy, he wants to be stable, my friends. He should be stable in Boyle and Cook's mobility stability model. The lumbar spine should be a stable joint. And above and below it, we have the hip joint, which should be quite mobile, and the thoracic spine, which should be quite mobile as well. So where do we go from here? What we need to try to facilitate is that equal pressure between the thoracic cavity, the abdominal cavity, and the pelvic floor. Again, like we said at the start, this will give us the ability to enhance multi-directional expansion, which actually gives us range of motion back at our appendicular skeleton, or like I think shoulders and hips. the other really important thing it does is it allows, when we get that lower rib cage down through exhalation, right there, and we can breathe back into that active abdominals, we find an increase in the ZOA, the zone of apposition, which is a lot of tissue that sits directly in front, you could say, of the diaphragm, okay? And it opposes the diaphragm's function. So what it can do is, it's like it builds a little cage. It allows the diaphragm, when I've got those ribs down, the zone of apposition on, it allows the diaphragm to kind of ascend up. It allows the stability of that rib cage. But if I don't have that zone of apposition, those lower ribs are flaring out, then I can't dome back up. Make sense? I know, right? Interesting. Yeah, what we've been sold on is all this belly breathing for years and years and years, especially those people who are suffering with lower back pain and tightness of the thoracic junction, and this leads on to shoulder pain and anterior hip impingements. All sorts can go pretty AWOL when our foundation isn't looked upon, okay? Movement starts from your system's ability to control air pressure. When it can control air pressure and get you through life, then that'll dictate where your axial skeleton goes, rib cage, spine, and then that dictates where your appendicular skeleton goes, and that's pelvis, hips, shoulders, and that kind of leaks into the outsides. So we've got to have a really good think about what we're trying to accomplish when we're telling people to breathe. Okay, especially under load. So we get into the gym here, and we get a normal cue when we get under our squat is to keep the head up, to keep the chest up and the butt back, and we drive that pattern under more load, under more threat. That'll stick. That pattern will stick really hard. Then we end up with an athlete or a person who's in this way, and they get under the bar and it's chest up, butt out, and I'm squatting. That is more back pain. That is sometimes. These are just scenarios, more back pain, limited range of motion, and I'm trying to find a way to squat. You'll think that it's your ankle dorsiflexion, but it's not. It's just the center of mass has actually moved forward, and now I'm always plantar flexing, so I'm limited in that down there, but it has to be because I haven't fixed the foundation properly. These are all things that stem from respiratory function. So when you are at a gym, or at any sort of health modality that you enjoy to do, there are a few things that we like to see, okay? And that is that rib cage over pelvis. Stick that guy down. When you can get that, when you can get this back under and that rib cage down via a breath, and I can get that natural kyphotic curve back, okay? Then my shoulders just have to be taught to be back on top of it. And that's another video, shoulder function and where it comes from. But that's for later. I hope you enjoyed the little talk, guys. If you have any questions, just post down below or hit us up at drive360.com.au and we will answer as many questions as possible. Enjoy, breathe well, and we'll see you next time. For all those people out there that are interested in correct breathing mechanics, do a little test. Lay down your back, you're gonna get your fingers into your sternum here. Okay? And I want you to take a photo of it, get a partner, or just have a look down like in a video like I'm doing right now. And from the bottom of your xiphoid process or your sternum, just keep those two fingers together and wrap the other ones around. Try and find the edge of it. Sometimes the edge has rolled in due to respiratory compensatory patterns. So you can see here I'm quite a narrow infrasternal angle. And narrow is anything under 90 degrees, give or take 5 or 10, and you get the wide guys which are out here, and there's anything above the 90, 95 degree mark. Take a photo, send it in to us, and we will give you, for free, the magic. Something that will help you out a huge amount, just so that you can understand where we're coming from. That is all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed